Hello and welcome. Today I've been thinking a lot about something that has really bothered me about humans and about society for a very long time. In fact, this is something that I've been thinking about for years and have kind of suppressed. And sometimes I remember, and many times I keep it to myself because it's not something people like talking about. And it's time that we bring this out into the open and be honest with ourselves. In our society, and in most societies around the world, we value humility over self-love. Almost to the point where self-love is looked as something repulsive. Because self-love includes confidence in your own abilities. Self-love includes understanding what you're capable of and being honest with others about that. However, if you are truly honest about yourself and what you're capable of, people will think that you're conceited, that you're arrogant, that you're overly confident, that you're an asshole, for lack of a better word. I'm not monetized, so I can say what I want. And this is really detrimental to actually growing as a person, because you have to constantly walk on eggshells and make sure that you don't come off as somebody who's arrogant or as somebody who is overly confident. It's better to shame yourself than to build yourself up around other people. Now think about when you are around other people and you say, I'm good at this, or I have this abilities, maybe not the right word. I think it's like I'm trying to think of a good example. It's like if you say that you're smart. It opens you up to attack because people immediately want to bring people down from that place of confidence. So say you go out and you say, oh, I have an IQ of 135. And you're just saying it as a matter-of-fact statement. It's been tested and that's what you have. Well, people will either say one of several things. You are lying is a common thought. You're telling us that so that we'll think that you're smarter than you are, or you're telling us that to brag. Brag is a huge thing. Brag is such a nasty word, right? There's so many negative connotations to the word brag. If you brag about something that you've done, people immediately look down upon it. But really, you're just feeling happy that you did something. You're accomplished with something. But bragging is looked down upon. It is a negative word for self-confidence or excitement about an achievement. But I digress. So they might also say, you're not as smart as you say you are. Let's test it. Let's test your intelligence. You have this 135 IQ? I bet I'm smarter than you, and I have 100 IQ. Or I bet I'm smarter than you because I have a 165 IQ. And they will test it. Because people don't want other people to just say who they are and what they like about themselves or things that they're happy about. And I don't even know if it's so much a conscious thing. I don't even know if it's so much like in the forefront of their mind, I want to bring someone down, or that's gross that somebody would act like that. But you have these thoughts in the subconscious part of your brain that are telling you that's a nasty behavior, that's a bad behavior, we don't want this behavior, we need to snuff out this behavior is wrong. When self-confidence is a form of self-love, we hate it as a society. I think there's a reason why so many people are unhappy, and I think a lot of that is because we're not allowed to be confident about our capabilities. Am I saying this is everyone? No. I definitely would say that there are people that I have been around that don't judge you for anything that you say. You can say anything about yourself, good or bad, and they'll accept it, and they don't get this kind of attack mentality. However, still, even among people like this, even with myself, I will catch myself joke and make fun of somebody if they say something that they're confident about. Like just some kind of snarky, sarcastic remark. Sarcasm is a huge methodology for attacking people who say something about themselves that they're confident about. It's different when it's an accomplishment, like I got an A on a test, versus someone saying I'm smart. Like something about saying I am something that's positive. Say you said, I'm a beautiful person. People will think that you're conceited by hearing you say that. They might even agree, but they will think that you're conceited for saying something like that. And what makes me think about this, and what sparked this entire video and this entire conversation, is a video that I watched yesterday that literally brought me to tears and is kind of trying to bring me to tears right now. Sorry guys, I'm emotional, get over it. And this video was done by a girl presumably in high school. And so what she did is she got her camera, she went around the school over some period of time, I don't know how long it took her to record, and she stopped people in the hallways or in the gym or wherever and said, "Can I take a picture of you?" And rather than take a picture, she was recording. And as she recorded, she said, "I wanted to take a picture of something that I thought was beautiful." And the looks on so many of these people's faces, Jesus, excuse my language, but I'm getting emotional just even thinking about the looks on their faces, because the looks on their faces were some of shock, some of gratitude, some of "you're lying to me," some of general confusion. Like, how could I be considered beautiful? And some straight up said, "You're lying. No, I'm not beautiful." Some people looked around for somebody else. They said, "Surely you're not talking about me." And then, wow, I'm struggling to get this out right now. Man, it really affected me more than I thought it did. But then she asked, "What about you is beautiful or unique?" And at least half of them struggled to find anything that they could say. Some said, "My personality." Some said, "I have no idea." Some said, "My smile." Some said, "That's a hard question, I don't have an answer." And I'll link this video down below because I do think that it's an interesting social experiment, because it reveals a lot about people just from a small group of people, just from a small selection of maybe 20 people. When you see those reactions, they're not the only people that think that way. They are a sample of a much larger group of people, which is that of humanity. And you might say you can't draw conclusions about humanity from this small case study, for example. However, it is not this case study which made me come to this conclusion. I've had this conclusion, and this case study shows the truth behind that conclusion, which is, it is shameful to even say that you think you're beautiful, to compliment yourself. A self-compliment is probably the most repulsive thing you could do in our society, besides being outright hateful or cruel to somebody. And even then, hateful and cruel acts sometimes have more value than self-love, especially if society has deemed somebody as worthy of this hateful behavior. And so the question then becomes, okay, the problem is revealed. The problem is that we don't accept self-love. So what do we do about it? Is it a problem? Is it okay that we're like that? Is it for the best that we are like that? Or would it be better that we're different? I feel like it would be better if we were different. But I'm just one person with one perspective. And my perspective does not speak for the perspective of humanity. I'm one person in 8 billion who has this opinion. But because I have this opinion, I do want to do my part to help people feel more comfortable, to be honest, because I would like to be more comfortable giving myself a compliment. I struggle to give myself compliments in the space of my own head. Man, I'm getting emotional again. And I know that I'm not the only one who struggles to compliment themselves in their own head. There's always something we need to be better at. What we are is never good enough. So, what I'd like to ask you is to tell me something about yourself that you love and are proud of. Something that you haven't told anyone before. I want you to be open and vulnerable with me. Because I think the only way to stop this behavior is to do the opposite, is to be openly loving about yourself. Something that I love about myself is that I care so much for other people. And sometimes I hate that part of myself, because life would be easier if I didn't have that part. Life would be easier if I didn't care. I do care. I care so much. I care so much every day that I neglect myself because I don't feel like I need the love as much as other people do. But in all reality, I do. I just don't want to admit it. So, please tell me something down below that you love about yourself. And have a wonderful, beautiful, amazing day.